Hey, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who I learned this truth from. I want to say peace, mercy, and blessings unto all the hopeful elect. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and that means He exists, He is to be. The name of the Son is Yahushai, that means He is the deliverer. We are the Hebrew Israelites. There's 12 tribes of our nation. All right. According to Bible prophecy, the self-proclaimed white man, the small hats, they're Amalek, Esau. All right, according to Bible prophecy, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. So we're literally witnessing and experiencing, all right, the end of the world, the downfall of Esau, Edom, calls all Yumlah, Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay, so I got some videos as you can see, and also some articles. See if I can find them. Okay, there it goes. All right. Now, if you've been watching the recent news, they just passed a new bill called the Secure Babylon Act. All right, and this was signed into law 11 hours ago. On Wednesday, June 10th, 2026, the president signed into law Secure Babylon Act. Let's go to it. All right, which provides funding to the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and U.S. Customs Enforcement through fiscal year 2029. So for the rest of this man's term, right, which Lord willing, we don't be here that long, he's fully funded the DHS, all right, the CPB, which is the Customs and Border Protection, billions of dollars on top of what they already got last year from the big beautiful bill. This is another bonus, and with those two things being heavily funded, you have two things that were heavily cut, such as SNAP, that was cut pretty bad, and Medicaid and Medicare. All right, so this is going to bring on a lot of suffering on top of what people were already experiencing, such as pressure from inflation. All right.
And this is what that means for so many Americans. Billions of dollars cut from Medicaid, which affects millions of Americans. The poorest of the poor people in this country are going to lose their health care, be unable to feed themselves, and this is what people wanted. And the richest people in this country will get a tax cut. So if you're not upset, then I'm confused. If this is what you want, I think you need to take a much deeper look.
This is the end. This is the end of Babylon the Great. This is going to result in more No King's Day protests. You watch, because people are going to start mourning about this. Because like she said, the rich get richer and the poor, they just get poorer and more oppressed because, more taxes, losing access to health care and also food. So we're living in a time of the great culling, right? If you don't know what that is, let's just look it up. Definition of culling involves reducing the population of a species by selective killing. So that's what's happening. Esau, part of his wine, part of his philosophies is what? Depopulation. So, hey, this is planned. This is it.
On June 1st, Medicaid recipients. If you are receiving Medicaid or you know someone who is receiving Medicaid, there are 3 very important dates that you have to know about. The new Medicaid work rule is going to negatively impact a lot of people. I don't even have any words right now for how I feel about this administration at this moment after reading this. The 80-hour mandate. Able-bodied adults aged 19 to 64 must prove they work voluntarily.
Right, so they notice how they're getting more stricter with the work requirements, but also there aren't any jobs out here. Why? Because AI is taking all the jobs. You see?
Participate in job training or attend school for a minimum of 80 hours per month to retain their health coverage. Recipients are required to submit paperwork to re-verify their eligibility every 6 months. There are some exceptions though. Pregnant women, primary caregivers of children under 14 or disabled relatives, individuals who already meet the work requirements for SNAP benefits. The 3 dates that Medicaid recipients need to pay attention to. This September 2026, states must begin mandatory public outreach to notify enrollees of the upcoming changes. January 1st, 2027, the work requirements officially take effect across the country. January 1st, 2028, the initial self-attestation grace period ends.
What you got to understand, Esau, he believes that, he has a 2030 agenda. So so year by year, he's, taking steps toward this new world order. What's weird, the hopeful elect, we're in the spirit of hastening the coming of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai. So hell no, we're not trying to be here another 3-4 years,
A strict physical verification documentation becomes fully mandatory. I am livid because there are people who might be physically able to go out there and work 10, 15, 20 hours a week, but mentally they're not. This is going to harm so many people because they won't be eligible for their benefits. Rural, heartless.
So hey, call Loyim La, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. This is all part of the vintage failing. The gathering shall not come. All right, this is from PBS.org, PBS News Hour. Millions lose SNAP benefits as one big beautiful bill stricter requirements kicks in. Now this is dated June 8, 2026, 6:35 p.m. A couple days ago. SNAP enrollment has fallen sharply nationwide since the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act last summer. More than 3.5 million people have lost access to the food assistance as states implement new eligibility requirements and stricter application processes. William Brangham reports on what's happening and speaks with Harvard professor of public health policy, Sarah Naomi Bleich, for more. All right. Says enrollment in Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, formerly known as food stamps, has fallen sharply nationwide since the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill last summer, which was the summer of 2025, which we're halfway through 2026, just like that. So hey, call Loyim La, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. The time is flying and we are praying for a few days, but there are over 38 million people getting the food assistance, but more than 3.5 million of them have lost access as states are implementing a series of new eligibility requirements and stricter processes for applying, right? That's right, Anna. Last year's Republican centerpiece budget law is projected to cut $186 billion in federal SNAP and federal spending on SNAP over the next decade. But it's not only about funding cuts. The new law changed eligibility criteria, like raising the age limit for work requirements from 54 to 64 and increasing the amount of documentation required to enroll. Since then, every state has seen a decline in people enrolled in SNAP, led by Arizona, where participation has fallen 51%. according to some estimates, and those who are still eligible are receiving much lower benefits and often facing longer reauthorization times. All right. It says here's what a 27-year-old Presley Nacy told us about her experience. He's a SNAP recipient, has a chronic illness, and works 2 jobs. I went from having a little over $200 a month for groceries from SNAP to having absolutely nothing for 3 months. I lost weight, I ate less, I had 1.5 meals a day instead of 2 or 3. I pinched pennies, I saved food, and food is expensive right now, man. All right, I saved food from the jobs I work at where they have free snacks. I took things home, and then when I was recertified, they renewed me for a significantly lower amount. So now I get $50 a month. So hey, when the time of the gathering, and $50 ain't shit, man. You know, that ain't really. You know, that's from $200 to $50. That ain't shit. That's what, maybe 5 items if you're lucky. You know what I mean? And that's not including tax. You know. All right, as you can see, it's a pretty lengthy article. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and read all of it. You know, but this is on pbs.org. All right, millions lose SNAP benefits as one big beautiful bill's stricter requirements kick in. So people are losing their SNAP benefits, man. All right, people are losing their Medicaid and Medicare. These people are getting ready to lose in general. All right, let's play a few more videos.
You are making the biggest cuts to Medicaid in American history. As a result of this bill, nearly 14 million Americans will lose their health care, and millions more will pay higher premiums, co-pays, and deductibles. That's just a fact. Hospitals will close, nursing homes will shut down, and people will die. And not a single one of the proposals in your bill is about making Medicaid work better. Not one. Your bill doesn't save Medicaid. Your bill destroys Medicaid. We can and we should make Medicaid work better. Absolutely. Instead, your bill creates more red tape, more hurdles, and kicks struggling people off their health insurance. Now, who asked for this garbage? I mean, more red tape? Oh boy. And if that's not bad enough, you are making the biggest cut to food assistance in American history. According to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, at least 5 million Americans will lose food assistance under your plan. 5 million more hungry Americans because of this bill. And that's probably a lowball estimate, by the way. You're slashing benefits from children, from seniors living on fixed incomes, from veterans who served this country.
So there you see it, man. You know, whatever Esau tries to do to make this place greater or to, you know, fix it, whatever you think he's going to do is not going to be effective. It's going to come to naught. Because Yahweh by Shem Shai ultimately has, he gave Esau, you had your time, Esau. All right? This is Job 14:5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Meaning, you know, once the Most High says it's it, that's it. And remember, this is the 250-year mark or anniversary of this place being an empire, and that's roughly the lifespan of all these different kingdoms. It's 250 years. And just like ancient Roman Empire fell, this place shall fall. Just like Sodom and Gomorrah fell, was overthrown. That's how this place is going to go out. This is Jeremiah 51 and verse, I'll just get right to 8 for time's sake. I could start at 1. Okay. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed, and that's how the destruction is going to come suddenly. All right, when these people least expect it, because they're going to be in the spirit of the days of Noah, eating, drinking, marrying, giving into marriage, building, planting. Days are a lot too. All right. Suddenly, though, those arrows going to come. All right. And I say arrows, I mean ICBMs. All right. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. It doesn't matter who you put up in there. All right, as president. Ain't gonna work. No matter the bills you pass, none of that's gonna help this place, man. All right. This is if this was if this was a ship, it'd be sinking. All right, there'll be a lot of water. People. There'll be a lot of water on the boat. People will start panicking. You know. 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Let us go, everyone, into his own country. People gonna start leaving this place, man. For her judgment reaching up to heaven and is lifted up even unto the skies. Yeah, it's time for the Most High to judge this place. All right. This is Isaiah 32, verse 10. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless woman, because, hey, I work. A lot of brothers work. They don't get food stamps. Maybe you might deal with a woman or know somebody who has food stamps, and they might be able to help you out or sell them to you. You know how Jake do. But a lot of these Edomites, they get fucking food stamps too. They want to act like it's just so-called minorities, which we're not the minority, we're the majority. But according to the Bible, we're the Israelites. All right, they want to act like the majority of our people are welfare recipients. Bullshit. Majority of welfare recipients are so-called white Americans. All right, there's a lot of Jakes out here doing better than Esau in his own kingdom. It's a two-time loser. This is Isaiah 32 and 10. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless woman. Yeah, it's gonna be very hard times, but especially for these women. All right, and you know why? Because a lot of women right now, they're single mothers. They may get food stamps. They may not work. They may get child support. They may get SSI. They may get all these different, things from Daddy Esau. But we're coming into days where, that gathering ain't gonna come, man. Or it ain't gonna be as much as it used to get. Times are gonna get harder. All right. For the ventures shall fail, the gathering shall not come. The gathering's not about to come. All right. And this is gonna result into people turning on each other. This is what 2 Ezra 15 be talking about. This is 2 Ezra 15 and verse 18. All right, no, 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. All right, now what are they doing? Checkpoints, lockdowns, many different reasons why this could play out. You don't have the MOTB, whatever. 18. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. They're going to be troubled with increase in crime, theft, home invasion, people deleting other people. You name it. It's going to be all type of trouble. Drugs, The houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. It's going to be coming to the time of, great testing, the great culling, but also the great deliverance of the elect. So it's beautiful. Most High is the power of balance. 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. And that's why Isaiah 4:1 is going to kick in, because these women, they're going to look for a man to protect them. All that pride and shit is going to go way out the window. They're not going to even care if you have multiple women, because it says, then that day shall 7 women take hold of one man. All right. Isaiah 4:1, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Yeah, right now, these women, they're looking for the highest bidder. They want you to cash app them, or you got to pay them to talk to them, or they're getting free dates out of men. Those days are over. All right. These women, they're just going to be happy to get with you and, have your children. When you pop them, they be with you for guidance and protection from Yahweh Shem El Shai. Only let us be called by thy name, to take away thy reproach of what? Not having a husband, not having a protector, not having someone to care for them. Because this time we're going to be coming into, all right, coming into very serious times, which we're actually already here, right? 2 Ezra 15:19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. great tribulation is coming on the world. We're in the time of great tribulation, man. You know? One more article, and I'll end it. This is from AmericanProgress.org. All right, July 3rd, 2025. It's old, but it's still relevant, as we saw from the previous videos. All right? The truth about the One Big Beautiful Bills Act, cuts to Medicaid and Medicare. The Center for American Progress, the ARC, break down the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, explains how its deep cuts to Medicaid and Medicare will lead to benefit losses, increased paperwork requirements, and rural hospital closures that will hurt Babylonians, especially people with disabilities. Right? On July 3rd, Congress passed a sweeping, regressive One Big Beautiful Bill Act amid the self-imposed rush to deliver the bill to the 47 deaths by July 4th, 2025. Many Babylonians will be looking for information about that bill, which was largely debated in the dead of night and pushed through at breakneck speed. This confusion has only been exacerbated by misleading and inaccurate statements about how and whether the bill's cut will affect people with disabilities, right? It says the ARC addressing rhetoric surrounding the bill and unpacked the devastating impacts that its deep cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, and also SNAP in particular will have on people with disabilities. Those who need Medicaid, most including people with disabilities and the elderly, will be affected by the bill cuts. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimated, that the One Big Beautiful Bill will cut federal spending on Medicaid and Children's Health Insurance Program, which is CHIP, benefits by $1.2 trillion, due in part to eliminating at least 10.5 million people from the programs by 2030. Esau is fucking crazy, man. All right? You got to remember that scriptures end with thoughts that think that they shall continue forever. All right? The bill will make it harder for states to fund home and community-based service. All right? Medicaid paperwork requirements will cause eligible people to lose coverage. I'm just skimming through right now. The bill will put rural hospitals at risk. So you're going to see a lot more hospitals closing down. I remember I was seeing a lot of videos. This hospital closed, that one closed, The One Big Beautiful Bill includes $50 billion in release funding for rural hospitals over a 5-year period to help reduce the disastrous impacts of the bill's roughly $1 trillion in Medicaid cuts. As of May 2025, there are approximately 2,086 rural hospitals receiving $12.2 billion a year in net revenue from Medicaid. As the median rural hospital's revenue from Medicaid is $3.9 million a year. Rural hospitals have some of the lowest operating margins in the nation, especially compared with urban hospitals, meaning that any reductions in revenue could lead to closures. All right? So, hey, call on him, La. Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Read this one more time, and I'm going to end it. I pray this has brought some edification, some information, right? Isaiah 32:10, many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless woman, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. All right, so, hey, all praise, honor, glory, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I'm going to say, to the hopeful elect, stay strong.